My name is Madeline Martorello, and I will be reading a speech by Susan B. Anthony titled, "Is It a Crime for a Citizen of the United States to Vote?" which was presented in 1873. I believe I must have been born believing in the full right of woman to all privileges and positions, which nature and justice accord to her in common with other human beings. Perfectly equal rights, human rights. There was never any question in my mind in regard to this. I did not purchase any freedom with a price. I was born free, and when as a younger woman I heard the subject discussed, it seemed simply ridiculous that any sensible, sane person should question it. And when later the phase of a woman's right to suffrage came up, it was to me only a part of the whole, just as natural, just as right, and just as certain to take place. Of whom should I ask this privilege? Who possessed the right to confer it? Who had greater right than a woman herself? Was it a man? And if so, where did he get it? Who conferred it upon him? He depended upon a woman for his being, his very existence, nurture, and rearing. More fitting that she should have conferred it upon him. Was it the government? What were they but the voice of the people? Who gave them that power? Was it divinely confirmed? Alas, no. Or they would have been better, pure, more just and stable. Was it force of arms, war? Who furnished the warriors? Who but the mothers? Who reared their sons and taught them that the liberty and their country were worth their blood? Who gave them up, wept their fall, nursed them in suffering, and mourned their dead? There is, once in a while, a monarch who denies the right of a man, place a crown upon his head. Only the great Jehovah can crown and anoint him for his work. He reaches out, takes the crown, and places it upon his head with his own hand. I suspect that this is, in effect, what woman is doing today. Virtually, there is no one to give her the right out to govern herself. As men govern themselves by self-made and self-approved laws, but in one way or another, sooner or later, she is coming to it. And the number of thoughtful and right-minded men who will oppose will be much smaller than we think, and when it is really an accomplished fact, also always wonder, as I have done, what the objection ever was. My reflective thoughts. Susan B. Anthony, as it was recognized as an activist, she is still widely recognized and respected today. I believe it is very well deserved. She was very courageous to deliver many of her speeches with her so-called radical beliefs, as human rights were considered to be privileges and not guaranteed at the time. For her, in her case, her privilege was not even an option. She, as women were denied many rights, such as the right to vote, I chose this speech to recognize in particular, because the background of it highlights her bravery and dedication to activism. Just a year before this speech was presented, Susan B. Anthony was illegally cast a ballot in the 1872 election, and was then arrested, tried, convicted, and charged for $100. Although she was fined, she never ended up paying the fine. She said that she would take it to her grave, and she would never pay the fine as long as she lived, and she never did. President Trump even mentioned her in 2020, saying that her conviction was unjust. Even after being arrested and publicly charged, she was not silenced. Is it a crime for a citizen of the United States to vote? Discusses the feeling of being born equally and not treated equally. And I believe this is how some Americans might feel today in the United States. I also applaud her for challenging authority, not just men in power, but world leaders. She asked them simple questions of why. Why is it so difficult to grant women equal rights? Oh, why am I not being treated equal? Why are you better than me? In 1873, questioning any authority was bold and even dangerous. At the end of the speech, Anthony reckons that with time and many continuous reflect on the outcome over 100 years later, it makes me wonder if she never wrote this speech, what would it be like today? Will we still have the rights to vote? Will we be silenced? I believe that many women, when they go to cast their vote in the next election, they should think about the women who got them there, why they're there, and how they got there. and you should take a moment to recognize those people such as Susan B. Anthony.